Vandeham Sri Guru.
The following is a conversation with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 10th of July 1973 in London, England.
Sri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Svam Sajivam.
We are teaching people how to love God, that is all.
To love is very difficult, is it not? It is very difficult.
That is not difficult.
It is both difficult and not difficult.
No, everything, there is a Bengali word, jar kaj tare saje onno loke lathi baje. Anything, if one is practiced to do, he can do it very easily. And for others, it is just like striking with a rod. Onno loke lathi baje. Suppose if there is some difficulty in electricity, I do not know anything, and it will be a very, very difficult task for me. But anyone who knows immediately connects to that. It is simply to know the art.
Yes, I would say, with respect, it is easy to feel love for people. It is not always easy to put this love into practice. Sometimes to love you may have to be hard, apparently hard to a person if you wish to help them.
The thing is that we want to love people, we want to help them, but if you do not know the process, the same thing, love, that's it. You should know the process, how to love. So our process is, according to Vedic injunction, that jatha tarunmula nisichanena tripanti tatskanda bhujopasada. It's like if you pour water on the root of the tree, automatically the branches, the twigs, everything, water. Prano bhaharat jathendriyana. If you supply food to the stomach, the energy is distributed to the hands, legs, eyes and everywhere. This is the process. But if you take the food and separately push on the eyes and the ears and the hands and the fingers, it is useless.
Oh yes, I agree that...
Similarly, if you try to pour water to each leaf of the tree, it will simply waste of time. Similarly, God is the root of everything. Our Vedanta Sutra says, Janmadasya, absolute truth, where from everything has come. So, if we love the root, God, then we can love others. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, it is simply waste of time. They have tried. The so-called humanitarian work, they have tried. Unity and fraternity and so on, big, big words, but it has not come to me. Because there is no love of God. It has failed. Even the United Nations. Central point is missing. So, our Vedic injunction is that savai punsang paro dharma jato bhakti radho khaji. That system of religion is perfect, which teaches how to love God. It doesn't matter, Christian religion, Hindu religion, Mohammedan religion, it doesn't matter. But God minus, this is the present position. Everyone wants to make minus God everything. This is going on. They have no clear idea. If I want to love you, I must have a clear idea of you. On vague idea I cannot love. But they have no clear idea what is God. How they can love God. And because they have failed to love God, all this so-called love, humanitarian, philanthropic wars, and they have become useless.
Yes. The problem is a very big one. We are perhaps sent into this earth to know, to learn
No,
how to love.
I have got some objection. You cannot begin any scientific statement with the word perhaps. We don't accept.
I am.
You must be assured.
saying,
You must be assured.
I do not wish to be presumptuous, if you
But
understand.
as soon as we say perhaps, maybe, that is nothing. This has no meaning. Because it is not certain. You have no clear idea.
But are there not things about which in the mortal life one can have no clear idea?
But if there is clear idea, why they should not take it? Why they should speculate? Perhaps, maybe.
But there are many things about which I cannot have any clear idea. I cannot.
No, you cannot have, but if you get clear idea, why you do not take it?
No, I mean even in the physical realm, I cannot at this moment conceive what it is like, say, to be in Sydney, in many cities in the world. There are many things, many bits of knowledge which I cannot have. I cannot be everywhere at once. I am here now. I do not even know what is happening in the place from which I have come.
Yeah.
And I must accept that. I cannot be certain about that. Would you not agree?
If there is a process, suppose you are not in Sydney, but if there is a radio message from Sydney, how do you accept it?
Oh, well, I believe it.
And that's a question of
But
belief.
that is not belief. Is not quite the
No,
same
that is
thing
not
as-
belief, that is fact. Suppose a radio message is coming from Sydney, we accept it. Fact. Although I am not in Sydney. So it is a question of process, how to receive the message. If the process is perfect, then the message is perfect.
But one has to believe the...
Yes, if the process is perfect, one has to believe.
Well,
One has to believe.
I mean, it is quite...
Just like I'll give you one example. Nobody knows who is his father. Neither it is possible to know one's father by speculation. But there is a process. If you ask your mother, this gentleman is your father. You accept the process and you get the perfect knowledge.
One could look like one's brother.
Eh?
One could look very like one's brother.
But I don't follow it. Eh?
You do not understand. I have a brother,
Brother, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
who is very like me. And, well, this helps me to believe that I know who my father was.
No,
In one
that is another thing, because one gentleman resembles your features. You think that he is your brother. That is another thing. But here, the process, if you want to know who is your father, the process is, it should be known through the mother. There is no other process. It is not the suggestion, because somebody resembles my face, he is my father. Not like that. It is the perfect process.
Oh yes, I agree with what you say. I'm just adding another
You
bit of information.
you cannot understand your father by any other process. This is the only process. That means things which are unknown, beyond our conception, you have to know it through the authority. Just like you know your father through the authority of your mother.
Oh yes, I agree. But
you cannot say the things which are beyond our imagination cannot be known. You cannot say that. Can be known. Provided you have got the real process.
And afraid I must make, so far as I'm concerned, a clear division between what I know and what I believe. There are certain things, it is maybe partly a use of words, but whereas I know that I am here and that I have people I am in the same room with other men.
Do you think that this process, as I have suggested, to know one's father through the authority of the mother is not perfect?
Oh, well, I think it's as near perfect as you can get.
Why say as near? Why still doubt?
It's not quite the same thing as my knowing that I am here. There's a famous French philosopher who began all his philosophy from the phrase, I am conscious, therefore I know that I exist. And he deduced everything, starting from here.
That's a fact. You are conscious, I am conscious. That's a fact. It is not the question of belief. It is not question of belief. Belief may be wrong, but fact is fact.
Yes, agreed.
So, when I say that I am conscious, you say you are conscious, we are conscious. That's a fact. And that consciousness is the symptom of the presence of the soul. Because from the dead body means when the soul departs from the body, there is no more consciousness.
Now this is something on which I think I'm probably too young or too... I have not thought enough about it to be able to tell you very clearly or to define very clearly what I think. This is very difficult, I know. But I'm conscious that I do not know about this. I can make certain...
Therefore,
I'm inclined to accept what you say, but I cannot say that I know it.
When we are in doubts, therefore we have to refer to the authority. It's like when you are diseased.
Oh yes.
So you go to the physician. What is the cause of my this trouble?
True.
Similarly, when you are in doubts, you have to approach an authority to clear the doubts. Otherwise you remain in doubts, ignorance.
Oh yes.
Yes. Therefore our Vedic injunction is tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet. Tad vijnanartham. In order to clear the doubt, to be in perfect knowledge, one must approach the authorized, bona fide spiritual master.
Can we go back to the physician? It is possible for a physician to be wrong.
Yes, we are always in wrong because we are born ignorant. Everything is wrong because ignorant, foolish. madman's conception. This is all wrong, childish.
Yes.
Therefore, we send our boys, children to school
Yes.
to correct the wrong ideas.
But some of the teachers may themselves not be correct.
The process is you have to go to the teacher. But if the teacher is a cheater, then the whole thing is spoiled. A teacher must be teacher, perfect teacher. But if he happens to be a cheater, then the whole thing is spoiled.
But the human situation is often a sort of mixture of the two. Sometimes.
No, a mixture of two, that may be. But the process is that we have to approach the real teacher. Just like I approach the mother. Mother is supposed to be not cheater. But if the mother happens to be a cheater, then I am cheated. I am cheated. I don't get the information of my real father. But it is expected. A mother should not cheat.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But it is expected of teachers.
So it is my misfortune. If I get a cheater mother, then my whole life is spoiled.
But the teacher may be wrong. That wishing.
No, he is not teacher. If a teacher is wrong, he is cheater. That is our
Sorry,
position.
this is a point which we must
This
surely get
is the
right.
real point.
Yes.
If you have to go to a teacher, you must go to a real teacher. You don't go to a cheater.
But suppose I teach you something, a subject in which knowledge is not complete.
Then you
there
should
are
not be
no
teacher.
discoveries.
Then you should not be teacher. Then you are
But-
cheater.
No, because knowledge is
that is our teacher means when I approach a teacher, he must be a bona fide teacher. He should not be cheater. If he has no sufficient knowledge, he should not pose himself as a teacher.
Well, I'm afraid I would be right out of court, because you see, I have often to confess to my pupils that I do not know.
Yeah, that is going on, but that is not the system.
But
If you do not know, you should not become a teacher. That is our problem.
I see. Well, I'm not at all sure that I could accept.
You
what
must
say.
be sure that whatever knowledge you are giving, that is perfect.
But
Then you are
see,
teacher.
what you are, in that case, I should have to pretend. You see, I would have to pretend to know something which I do not know.
So
and then I
pretend
should
that-
be a cheater, wouldn't I?
Yes.
And that would be wrong.
Yes.
And there must be many things which I do not know.
It is better to become honest. If I do not know anything perfectly, I should not be teacher. That is right thing.
Yeah.
And if I have got doubtful knowledge, perhaps maybe, why should I be teacher? I should say, no, I cannot teach. This subject is unknown. That is our process.
Yes. I must say that there are many things.
Yes,
on
that
which
is going on.
I
That
have
is going
no
on.
knowledge.
Therefore, people are misled.
No, I would mislead them more if I said that I knew.
No,
Well,
if
I
you,
do not
no. If you do not know, why should you say you knew? That is another cheating.
How do you mean?
When you know,
Oh yes, I don't pretend. If
then
I
you
know
say that,
something,
yes,
I
I
say
know.
But when I do not know something, then I admit that I do not know it.
yes, that
But I
admission,
think-
that's all right. But in that case, one should not take the post of the teacher. That is our Vedic injunction. One must know
You
perfectly.
may well be right. But actually, I think there are many things about which knowledge is changing. There are things
That
I
means
see you
cheating.
have here, certain bits of equipment.
That is described in the Vedic literature. Andha jathandhai rupaniyamana. A blind man is trying to lead other blind men.
I suspect that is as probably very near to the truth of the human situation.
Andha jathandhai rupaniyamana. What is the benefit? If I am blind, and if there are hundreds of blind men, all right, come on, I shall
I think
help
we're
you.
all partially blind.
Huh?
I think we are all partially blind.
No, then there is no question of knowledge. Somebody must be with eyes, he can give knowledge. That is our proposition. As soon as you say blind, there must be somebody with eyes. It is a relative class.
Yes,
it is a relative class.
But it is possible that
You cannot say all are blind. There is no question of blind and with man and eye. As soon as you accept blind man, you must accept the other side, man with eyes.
oh, I see. You mean that just as you distinguish from white, black.
Yes,
because
this is
it
relative
different.
word.
I agree that but I'm using this as an example, not as an absolute description. I think my view, may I explain this, of the whole of which I am, as I say, I think, an imperfect part, a part which is trying to learn something which I'm not even quite sure what it is
No,
that I'm trying to learn.
this is your perfect gentlemanness that you say that I am imperfect. That's nice. But our point is that from imperfect man, imperfect knowledge is received. We cannot expect perfect knowledge from imperfect man.
But where does your perfect knowledge
That
come
is-
from?
that-
and how do you recognize
Yes, that is very important point. Where to get the perfect knowledge. That is one. That is intelligence. Therefore, the Veda says, Gurumeva vigachet. You go to a guru. Guru means head, who knows better than you, or who knows perfect. That is it.
But you see, this is
We have to
Ah,
find out.
difficulty.
We have to find out who can give the perfect knowledge.
how do you know
Yes.
that you know?
Yes.
May I ask this? This is the point
Yeah.
which I would find, without disrespect,
Yeah.
this is something which is very difficult whatever kind of faith you have.
It is not the question of faith. Faith may be wrong, belief may be wrong. That perfect knowledge can be received from the perfect source. So, God is perfect. God is perfect. And one who follows the path of God is also perfect.
But he is different from God, is he not?
Maybe. Just like
But this is important
same
to
process.
me. Can
the
you mind if we-
mother gives the perfect knowledge and the son receives the knowledge. So the knowledge received from the mother by the son is perfect. The son may not be perfect, but because he has received the knowledge from the mother, which is perfect, therefore he is perfect.
In what respect do you consider yourself different from God?
Do you think I am also equal with God?
What I want to know is what you feel your relationship to God is.
My relationship is just like father and the son.
Yes.
The son is not different from the father. At the same time, he is different from the father.
Yes.
The same relationship. We are all sons of God.
Yes.
Therefore, simultaneously, we are one and different.
Yeah.
As son, the ingredient, the same. But he is father, we are son, we are different. This is called the philosophy of
Yes.
Achinta Bheda Ved.
Yes.
Bheda means different, and Abheda means one. So simultaneously one and different.
May I ask you another question, which is, I have a mortal father, a mortal father,
Mortal
a man,
father, yes.
who know my parents
Yes.
are father and mother. Do you think that my father is in any way different in his parentage of me from God in his parentage of me?
Not everyone. Not only your father, your grandfather, or grandson.
Yes.
The same relationship, simultaneously one and different.
Yes.
Because we are spirit soul and God is the supreme soul. All the souls have come, emanated from Him. He is the supreme soul. And Paramatma, the exact word used in the Vedic language, Paramatma, Parabrahma, Parameshwara. This word Param means supreme.
I accept
The difference is
without any trouble.
God,
No.
in the Vedas it is stated that God is just like a person, like you and me, just like we are person, we are talking face to face. Similarly, God is also a person. But we are also persons. But what is the difference between the two classes of persons?
Exactly.
Yeah, the difference is Ego jo bahunam vidudati kaman. God is the maintainer, the supplier of all necessities of these so many persons. That is God.
Yes, I accept that.
This is the difference. We are maintained and He is maintained now.
Yes.
And that is the difference. Otherwise God is also person, I am also person. One is maintainer and others, the plural number, they are maintained. In Christian religion also the same idea is God
Yes,
gives us
I
our daily
understand.
bread, maintenance. So that is the difference. He is the bread supplier and you are bread eater, that's all.
He doesn't supply his bread to everybody. And
Everybody, yes. Everybody. Beginning,
people die, do they not?
die, that is another thing. People die, even if he has got many things to eat, he dies.
Yeah.
Can you check it? That does not depend on eating. There are many men, they are dying, although they
I'm
have
taking you too literally.
Huh?
Let us forget about that point.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not worthwhile.
because you say they are dying, God is not supplying. That is a mistaken idea. God is supplying. God is supplying. He is dying, natural death. It is not that because there is want of supply, therefore he is dying. That is a mistaken idea. Death is not dependent on the supply of food. There are so many other causes.
Oh yes, I agree about that, but you cannot...
And death
we
is
have
inevitable.
praise in our...
Even if you have sufficient to eat, you cannot avoid death. So death is inevitable. That is the problem of material life. Birth, death, old age and disease. So you cannot avoid it, so long you are materially existing. This can be avoided when you are spiritually elevated. That is our moment.
Yes, you cannot live without... You do not, as we say, live by bread alone. And in that sense, that may be the sense in which you wish me to take the sense, what you are saying, that God supplies bread, because bread could be both bread for the spirit or soul.
No, bread is material. Bread is material. To maintain your material body, you require material bread. But spiritual body does not depend on material bread.
Could we go back to the relationship between you, or all of us, and God. What my own experience has suggested to me is that the language which I use and the language which has been used by others to describe what we think him to be is not really capable of accomplishing this very difficult task. It is an impossible task, in fact, because we are describing something which is so immeasurably greater and more difficult to understand fully. We can have a relationship, but I find it, the language which we use is of mortal things which are in our experience, and we apply those to something beyond the purely mortal realm, and sometimes the descriptions we use are to be taken only to a certain extent. They are useful as illustrations, but they are not to be taken as necessarily a fact. I think this has misled many people when they think about God, that we use a description and it's rather like what we talked about to begin with, the question of names. Names. Yes, I wrote my name for my friend here, and we joked as we came in about how this name should be pronounced. And of course it depends how well people would know me, which name would apply to me. But I want to go one further than that, and I want to say that to know a name or a large number of facts, to be able to make a large number of statements about people, is not the same as really knowing this person. And this is our difficulty, as I see it, in relating ourselves to God. That although we make many statements about him, which are often picturesque ones, we say that he is almighty, that he can, in our religion, move mountains, or all sorts of separate statements like that. If you take all those statements together, they wouldn't really describe him at all.
One man is engineer. So if I address him, Mr. Engineer, what is wrong?
Oh, there is nothing wrong so long as you...
No, this particular name, when I give to him,
yes.
What is wrong?
The only thing is that it is not complete.
Why not? That engineer word completes his situation.
Well, we might say engineer, teacher, but that would not be complete. No. That would not be a complete description.
No, it is complete.
It is true, but it is not complete.
When it is true, it is complete.
No, I think it is. I don't think so. You see, I could, if I say this wall is white, that is a true statement, but it is not a complete statement, because this wall is not like all white walls. There are many white walls which have not got curves in the corners, or decoration at that particular point. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Just like when we say God, Krishna, this word conveys the meaning, all attract. So what is it wrong? This Krishna means all attract. unless God is all attractive, how you can become God? It is not that God is for me, God. God is for you also. God is for him also.
Yes.
Therefore he must be all attractive.
Yes.
And this is
But not necessarily in the same way.
Huh? No.
Because
just to understand what is God, if you try to understand in this way, that God is good, God is all attractive, is it not perfect?
It is a partial statement.
Yes.
But it doesn't tell me. See,
Then when you go deep into the matter, you understand more and more.
yes.
In the beginning,
But you will never, I suspect, here on earth, understand.
that suspicion I have already answered. that
Not for me.
that you have to go through a process,
Yeah.
right process.
Yeah.
Then there will be no suspicion. The same example. But if you do not go through the process, you will be always suspicious.
Yes. When I say suspect, what I mean is not anything bad.
No, I know
You
that.
understand? All I
That-
mean is that I'm not sure about this.
Yes.
I think it may well
so
be true.
that
I'm not
suspicion will continue unless you take the right process.
I do not think that this God gave me my mind with my eyes and my sight, hearing, all these faculties of the senses and the intellect and the soul, if we are correctly speaking when we speak of it as something independently existing.
Yeah.
He did not expect me, I'm sure, to reject questions, i.e. my religion, and my must be just as much a part of me as all that my intellect tells me. There must be no question which my religion cannot stand up to.
First of all, you say that God has given you the intellect.
Yes.
He can withdraw it also.
Well, we say not,
But
because
if he has given, he can withdraw it also.
I don't. Well, we have a strange view of God that.
And you may have
He is-
strange view, we are arguing. You see, as soon as you say God has given you intellect, he can withdraw
Yes.
your
But
intellect.
you see, what we have also to explain why all men are not good.
Huh?
Now, if God chose, he could force all men to be good, but that is not.
No,
fair.
God has given you intellect to become good. But because you disobey God, you have become bad.
But if God is all powerful and he cared to use his
No,
power,
he does not interfere with your little independence.
well, this is exactly what this
Yes.
is the point at which you were trying to.
Yes, just like in
to
Bhagavad,
get-
in the Bhagavad Gita, God says that you surrender unto me. That means, if you like, you surrender. God is not forcing, you must. He is not forcing.
Well, that's exactly what I meant.
Yes,
to say.
that he does not.
We are agreed.
Otherwise, there is no meaning of being part and parcel of God. God is fully independent. And we are minute part of God. Therefore we have got independence. That independence is minute.
Oh, yeah.
But there is. So, if God interferes with your independence, then you no longer are part and parcel of God.
Yes.
Therefore,
You are saying-
God says that you do this. Now, I misuse my independence. I do not do it. Therefore, I am bad.
Our positions do not differ on this point.
Huh?
We think exactly the same.
Yes. We do not do. Just like your father says, my dear son, do like this. But you disobey. Therefore, you are bad son. So, my badness is creation of mind, misuse of independence.
Yes. But it may not be entirely willful.
Yes, because God has given you the intelligence, and as I said, He can withdraw. My intellect means I have given you the intellect that you do like this, but you are persistent doing otherwise. All right, as you like you do.
Yes.
This is withdraw.
Oh, yes. But one may...
There is no force. There is no force.
No. But what I want to go back to is the reason for disobedience. There are various possible ones. One may first not know what one is supposed to do.
Yes.
Secondly, is that all right? Do you agree about that?
Oh yes.
Yes.
We do not know anything. We are to be considered all fools and rascals. That is our position. As soon as we come to this material world,
Yes.
accept a material body, we are all fools and rascals.
Do you accept the whole of the material world?
Huh?
Do you think there are some things in it which are wrong?
Just like as soon as you come to the prison house, you are all criminals. You may be very intelligent, but because you are in the prison house, you are criminal.
I am, sorry,
Criminal. Because you are in the prison house, that is the proof that you are a criminal. You may be a very intelligent man.
Oh yes, I'm not claiming...
Similarly,
claim to
any living entity who is originally part and parcel of God, God is all good. Therefore, the part and parcel of God is also all good. Now he has to undergo the criminal laws. Similarly, because we have come to this material world, we have to undergo the material tribulations. You cannot avoid.
Well, this is a very long... We are now on a topic on which I should have to require or ask, if I put it more politely, much more time than I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am a person with responsibility to my boys. I must go now and say our prayers in the Christian
Yes, that's nice.
way, which we profess up there.
Yeah.
Not all believe, but some do, and they must be given their chance.
Yes, that
But
nice.
will you please, sir, excuse me at this moment? I would very much like to come back and
Yes, you come
pursue
on. Yes, very welcome.
this,
Yes.
if you feel it is of
Oh yes. And
interest or
yes, after 4 o'clock
value to you.
you can come. You are welcome.
Every night you can come after 4.
Sorry?
After 4
After
o'clock.
4 p.m. Any night.
Yes, well, we have a very busy week because, as I say, we are correcting papers, we are
Oh yes, you must.
ending our term, but what we are talking about is something which doesn't change today, tomorrow, or yesterday. So when these things have been done, perhaps next week I will come down.
Oh yes, you are welcome. I want that responsible persons like you should try to understand the scientific value of this movement.
Yes.
It is not a sentimental. It is based on philosophy, science, authority. So,
Well, it's on this question of authority,
Yeah.
in the sense that we would have the greatest difficulty. But another time, please.
and every religion is authority. That's a fact.
It is, yes,
Yes.
that is true. But every
provided.
individual is free and must find
Yeah.
for themselves.
Not we.
their own
Our
self-guidance.
proposition is that savai pumsang paro dharmo jato bhakti radhukkhaja. That is first class religion, which teaches the followers how to love God. This is our.
Well, we shall
That-
see. We have a lot to. See, it is quite possible.
Yeah.
I,
How?
I too have been sent.
Yeah. You give him some prasad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just wait, let's take prasad. Our only fighting is against atheism, godlessness. This is our main fight.
I agree.
Yes. People say there is no God, God is dead. This is all humbug. So many there are atheistic problems. We are giving fight against this atheism.
Will you excuse me? I must.
He's just bringing a little
Moment.
They're bringing a little
Oh,
refreshment.
no, I must. I have my boys. They wait for me.
Why?
I must be with them.
Don't bring
There is some prasad.
His teacher just down the road in the school.
You take little this.
Oh,
Yes.
Just one box.
Just take little.
may I take just?
Just little. I am not giving much.